Good evening, kids, parents, and the chess teachers. In the lesson number 25, we're going to study the endgame that happened between Keres and Alekhine in 1936. Now, the queen endgames are, of course, very complicated, and let's first analyze and see what is happening in this game. Black is a little bit better because Black has three pawns against two pawns on the king side, and we call it in chess majority. Now, there's another issue here with the white pieces, and that's this space, e5, that is a great outpost for the black pieces. And you will see throughout the game that the pawn endgame, so if you would trade the queens, would be in favor of black, right? So this is what happened in the game. First move, b6, b3, and queen h5. Okay, black is trying to activate the queen. It's clear that he would love to play queen e2, right? So the queen on e2 would be very, very strong, powerful, right? Not only that it would control the pawn, e4 from the back, but taking the second rank, threatening queen e1, checkmate. So queen d3 and king f7. In every endgame that we studied, you notice that we need to use the king, right? King is a very important piece in the endgames, and you cannot win them if you don't use the king. g3, pawn takes, pawn takes. So now we have 2 against 1 on the king side, right? But it will take a long time before black can even do any kind of advantage on the king side. So king e7, and now this marvelous move, queen e5. So centralization of the queen, right? That's very important in the queen endgame. Centralize the queen, put it in a place where it can do something. Right now, queen is targeting, right? Can play queen b2, right? Some positions, but also with this move queen e5, black is ready to push the pawns. Queen f3 and h5, right? King h3, g6. So slowly, black already improved the position a little bit, right? We talked about those strategies before. You cannot win right away. You have to be patient. Those are very small advantages, right? You're not going to be able to win this game right away. So take time and improve a little by little. You get better and better. Queen f4, and now black plays queen f6, and this is what I was talking about, that the pawn endgames are always better for black. King e5, and you're going to win the pawn here. Even after this move, right, you play king e5. So this transition, we play g5, and what happens, you already know this from intermediate level endgames that we studied, an outside pawn, right? You have an outside pawn, and you are going to win because the white king has to stop that outside pawn, and then you just capture all other pawns and promote into the queen. So this transition is very important in this endgame, right? That the pawn endgame is not working for white. Queen h6, king f7, a wonderful move. Again, we have the same strategy, because if the queen h7 would be played, white has to trade, and then again we have an outside pawn strategy. You go with the king to e5, and you are winning. So that's very, very important to understand in this position. Now king g2, queen b2. Let's see a couple of moves here. Queen a1. Now, what's the reason that if you take queen a2, you are exposed to the checks, right? So it could be perpetual check, and you may not be able to win the game. Queen a1, threatening checkmate, right? Queen f4, check. King g7, a nice place for a king on the same diagonal, right? With the queen. Queen is protecting the king here, And the king on this side will be able to support the pawns. Queen f3, queen f6 again, offer of the trade, and king h6. Finally, the black is moving those pawns, right? The black needed the help of the king, and now the pawns are, yeah, they are moved, and there is something going on, right? But again, pay attention to this move, centralization of the queen, right? Queen f3, king g6, and g4. Pawn takes. So now black has a pass pawn, right? And you'll see this pawn is going to become a queen, right? So, um, but what is important here is you have to take some risk. You cannot win this game if you don't allow this queen, to, you will see the queen is going to pick up some pawns here. The risk is a necessity here in those kind of positions. You have to calculate accurately, and let's see, this is actually what I'm talking about here. Black already captured one pawn, right? And let me see, let's move b5. Okay, so white is blocking all the black pawns. So the question is now, can this pawn win? And if you want to do that, you have to take this kind of risk, right? You have to play queen f4 and um, allow a white to capture the pawn. See, you must do that. There's no other way, right? And yes, you are pawn down, but with a accurate calculation, you may notice that your pawn may be faster than any of those pawns here, right? So now queen f3 check, check again, wonderful check, because it's not allowing the pawn to e5. So if you see, if you don't play something like that, let's say you play like king h3, then I mean, of course, the queen could capture here, but what matters in the queen endgames is like which pawn is more advanced. So, for instance, okay, I cannot play e5, but because queen g3. But what I'm saying, let's say e5, d takes, and then pawn d6 goes forward. That's what matters. Like which pawn is more advanced, not how many do you have. So here, um, that's why black is blocking that pawn. So now the pawn cannot go forward, and this pawn is protected. And g4, right? So we have a 4 pawns against 4 pawns, but look, this one is a pass pawn that can become a queen. And no, this doesn't matter. You can take as many pawns as you want, right? If you go for a pawns, queen h7, and this pawn goes forward, like you take another pawn, this doesn't matter. What matters is that this pawn is advanced, and that's the pawn that's going to win the game. So some people will say, oh, look, there are 4 pawns against 2 pawns, white is winning. Well, black is winning here because black pawn is more advanced than any of those white pawns, right? For a homework, for a practice, how about you play this position and try to win on your own? Play against the computer, or play on the chessboard. Like I told you, put 10 minutes on the chess clock and just play with your chess teachers. You'll see how much you're going to learn about queen endgame. Okay, so this is what happened in the g4, and play king g5. Now here queen e6, and black is coming back, right? Again, we have a situation where the endgame is not working for white because it's an outside pawn. You just push that pawn forward, king has to go to stop him, and then you capture other pawns, right? Now that's not what happened, this move, and that's a mistake. I think Keres did not calculate accurately here. So what happened is, after queen e5, now this is a lost endgame for white, because those electrical pawns are protecting each other. So what it is that the king can come back to f6 and stop this pawn, right? But those 2 pawns are winning because the white king cannot stop them. Now king f5 and e4. See, when you go like this side, now the other one goes forward. and that's it. But let's see how did black win the game. Okay, when you play a move like this, King G4, you have to calculate everything accurately. You cannot play King G4 and allow this pawn to become a queen, and then you like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. No, you have to calculate, right? Every move very precisely. So Alekhine plays King G4 and allows the queen, but also here there's the queen. Look at this move, King H3 with the idea King H2, right? And here E3, right? That's another queen, right? So if you take check and then blocks the pawn down there, here queen, now black found a hiding place for his king. Block, check, king g2, check, king f1, and that's the end of the game because there are no checks. If you play this move, queen goes to g2, you trade the queens, and then you take another queen, right? Okay, that's the end of the game. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and really, please take a chess clock, 10 minutes on the chess clock, play with your chess teachers, play with your friends in the chess class. What I do with my students, group lessons, I have them playing this position, right? And and then we play with both sides, with the black side and with the white side, so that way you can learn from both. But it's also very nice to play this with a computer. Look, if you are in Elite Chess here, chess.com also has a wonderful, engines. Look, you just press on this button here, and you can play with a computer, right? And you may lose the game, but it's okay. Then you play again, right? Or then you can switch the colors and let computer shows you how to win. Trust me, that's a very good way to learn the end games, and you are going to improve it so much. And every strong player knows the end games. You cannot just learn openings and do the puzzles. You have to learn the end games if you want to get better, especially if you want to move above 1,000 rating. Okay, boys and girls, it was nice to have you again in this lesson, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.